My name is Sureka Singh, and I feel so happy and empowered to call myself a dancer.
Welcome, Sureka. Such a joy to have you on Talk 10 today.
Thank you so much. No, it's such a pleasure.
Sureka, I was so happy to hear about the Wentworth Foundation and the work that they are doing. How do you support them?
Okay, so I'm the Chief Managing Officer at the Wentworth Foundation. And this is a foundation for community-based orthodontic and craniofacial services. So that means that we treat indigent children who have facial deformities. So yeah, this organization was started a very long time ago by Dr. Singh. He's the founder of the organization, and he's also my father. And he was one of the first Black orthodontists in South Africa. And when he came to Durban, he was asked by the Wentworth Provincial Hospital Plastics Department to help them. And what started happening was from, just 5 or 10 patients, he started seeing 20 patients a month. And then he started seeing double that. And then, as the years went on, he started seeing so many facial deformity cases that he decided to enlist the help of other volunteers and, of course, the private sector. So that's when he registered the Wentworth Foundation.
So this foundation currently runs at your dad's private surgery once a month in Durban North.
Yes, right. And once a month at Addington Children's Hospital. I've studied Bharatha Natyam, which is the classical dance form that originated in India. I studied it under my dearest and most beloved Guru Srimati Savitri Naidu.
You have compiled 2 beautiful books on Bharatha Natyam. Can you share your thoughts on each book?
Well, the first one that I compiled, it's called Nritya Bhaskar. And it's actually a dance manual. And this dance manual has all the theoretical and practical knowledge that is required for the student to enter the class and engage with the teacher and, of course, engage with the other students. So it has place for the student to write.
I want to congratulate you on that. I think it is a brilliant idea. It's their dance textbook. Come into your class. Everything with regard to your theory is in one place, write in one book, engage with the teacher. I think was a fantastic idea.
It was a labor of love, you could say. Yeah, but hard work to put it together.
Sureka, tell us about the second Bharatha Natyam book that you compiled.
Okay, so the second book that I compiled is called Insights and Impressions of a Bharatha Natyam Dancer. So I commissioned an artist to do paintings of the various Hindu deities, but I gave him a brief, and my brief was Bharatha Natyam is about expansion. He went off over a couple of months, and he did these absolutely amazing paintings of 24 various depictions of the Hindu deities. He had a Bharatha Natyam dancer doing the pose of that particular deity, and behind the Bharatha Natyam dancer was this beautiful sculpture that he had reference from various temples and, artistic works. And he had that behind the Bharatanatyam dancer. So it's actually enacting these beautiful stories of the various deities. And that's the main feature of the book. It has poetry in it. It has historical background in it. What I like about it is that it's not only meant for dancers. And of course, there are photographs in there as well. So there are photographs of the various hand gestures in Bharatanatyam. It's also called mudras. This book was published by a publishing house in Durban. It's called Micro Mega Publications. So you can go to www.madeinchatsworth.com. Mm-hmm. And the book is available on that website. You can purchase it from that website. Part of the proceeds of the book also go to the Wentworth Foundation. So that's a wonderful gesture from the publishing house. I wish for this book to, when a person reads this book, it should sing to them.
A very, very relevant contribution, literary work, and a fabulous coffee table book, really, something that you can just sort of relax with. You're very unique in your approach to Bharatanatyam. You also see it as a form of therapy.
For me, as the years went on, I learned that dance is extremely therapeutic. So there are those three aspects to dance therapy. I mean, the first being, of course, that you are able to express yourself, able to express it in a language that transcends words. And then the second part is that you're able to change your state of being by changing your body movements. And then, of course, the third part is you're able to use dance as a form of moving meditation. And this is what was so beautiful and wonderful about Bharatanatyam, because it gets you to access that internal state, which normally, you wouldn't. I have had classes which specifically focus on dance therapy.
Not everybody is comfortable talking. I like the idea that it transcends words. I know that you believe very much that Bharatanatyam is very spiritual.
Bharatanatyam is just so rooted in spirituality. Initially when you start learning, you realize that it's a form of worship. I suppose for me, it allowed me to connect with this divine essence, which I feel is internal to me. It kind of reminds you in the most beautiful way that you are divine.
It's easy to learn a skill. With sufficient practice, you will get that step right. But dancing with soulfulness is taking it to another level.
It's about tapping into that internal energy.
Can you go back to your Arangetram?
If I go back to my Arangetram, I can remember rehearsing with the musician, and my teacher, Srimati Savitri Naidu, was there. Srimati Balasundari Prathalingam was there as well. And I was completely terrified. So standing in the wings before you get onto the stage is such a nerve-wracking moment. I remember getting onto stage and starting to dance, and thereafter just something took over. It was an amazing experience, because when I finished at the end after the Mangalam, I thought, okay, I couldn't recall anything I had done. I had just danced. My body had just moved.
I was so happy to see that you also participated in a workshop or held a workshop called Know Your Worth.
So when I started running the Durban North Smile Center, there's a psychologist there. And so I approached her and I said to her, look, this has been something I've always wanted to do. And would you consider, doing something like this? So she was very keen. But there was also another doctor, Dr. Javanika Mudli, who also practices psychiatry. And I approached her as well. And she was also keen. We held it on the 14th of Feb. So it meant it's not about, having a Valentine out there somewhere. It's about loving yourself. It was extremely successful. So what we did was we had 3 sessions. We had one session which was group therapy, and that was overseen by the psychologist. And there were about 22 women who were part of this workshop. And then we had dance therapy, which I hosted. Then we had a yoga session with Dr. Javanika Mudli, and the psychologist was Nazia Osman. And it was absolutely mind-blowing. But it also made me think that the need is so great.
It's great on your part as well, because you feel that you are helping in many ways. You're reaching out. A lot of people don't ask, but if you do reach out, they will accept your hand.
Yes, that's it. Absolutely. It was so wonderful. And we had so many people from different age groups.
A beautiful initiative.
I think one important thing that I've taken throughout my life is be yourself, love yourself, face your fears, never give up.
So authenticity.
Authenticity. Absolutely.
All the best with everything that you're doing. You're doing fabulous work. You're touching the lives of many, and you're doing all from a very, very sincere faith.